Tell me more about macros and really how this can help organizations that are on Service Hub.
I think macros for the folks who are in the know, I think you're pumped on this. For the uninitiated, I think this is an important thing to learn about and educate on. It's going to be something that you can really bring back to your service teams to help them to improve time, ticket resolution rates, et cetera, uniformity of response. But also it could be a good trigger to consider if your team is on an external support or help desk tool to say, hey, this thing that was the sexy feature in these other tools is now normal in HubSpot's Service Enterprise. So I want to kind of talk through this a little bit. Okay. For the uninitiated, macros are like a reusable, best way to describe it, reusable template that service teams can create to handle common scenarios and specifically multi-steps for common scenarios. Okay. You receive a ticket and you complete a task. You need to send a summary to complete that task. So you go and you click complete task in HubSpot. You need to add a note, like an internal note that says, hey, this is what was accomplished. These are the steps that I did. You also need to go into your email client, follow up and send a follow-up email to that customer that says, hey, these are the steps we created. This is your ticket resolution. Rough, very basic example. That can be built into a macro that will link up all three of those items in a workflow and deploy those all at the same time on your behalf. Where a service rep would have to go into 2, 3, 4 different tools to move a ticket stage, to complete all of that in one fell swoop with one click. So as you set up these commonly recycled templated scenarios, that is what macros will help with. And it is a Service Hub Enterprise feature. And I think for the teams that need macros, that makes sense. Whereas Enterprise is the place to be, and you should probably be on that already. And that's kind of the best equivalent for something like a Zendesk.
Yeah, I think this type of update so useful if you're really trying to drive consistency across your service teams. I think that especially when you're if you have new support agents that are joining the team, they may not know every single way that you process tickets, from returns or customer complaints or anything that needs to be escalated, or if you need to reach out to other departments. And this is the opportunity for you to be able to just create that consistency and efficiency across the board so everybody's doing the same thing. So this is a really exciting update with this automation functionality inside of Service Hub. All right, we're jumping into Smart CRM next. So scan and redact sensitive data in CRM activities. Ryan, I'd like you to kind of take us through this one right here. HubSpot has launched the ability to store sensitive data over the last couple of years. Huge unlock for those in financial services and in healthcare, anywhere where you need to store credit card numbers or sensitive data like that. What is this new update in here? How does this help customers?
Yeah. I think that this is really important for businesses who deal with sensitive information, are in restricted industries, as Paul referenced, like financial services or health. HubSpot gives the ability to store sensitive data, but there's certain places in HubSpot where that sensitive data can be stored, and it's double encrypted, and there's click to view, and there's a bunch of features and functionality that gate that based on the permissions of an individual for visibility reasons. And all of that is legal reasons to not compromise customer, client, patient information. But there are other places in HubSpot where someone may volunteer that information, and you as the employee or as the HubSpot admin can't be held accountable, can't be held responsible, and it's really impossible to police that. So an example would be you're in a conversation, an email conversation with a customer, and they share their passport number in an email, or there's an email dialogue or an open chat field, and someone offers their diagnosis of a health condition. Now that lives in your CRM, and that's in an unprotected location in CRM activities. That's just logged on a contact record, as essentially as an activity. What HubSpot can do here, when you turn this feature on at 60 days, I was getting confused before the 60 and the 30. This is a 60-day back date where it reviews your entire portal and monitors for that type of information, and it will redact it and pull it out. Really helps with things like GDPR compliance, other legal compliance, as well as just making sure that some of that information that gets voluntarily shared, is impossible to police, gets removed from your CRM and reduces your compliance risk. I think it's an important piece for organizations that are using sensitive data today to know and turn on. But for those folks who aren't yet, or maybe have been concerned about bringing their core banking platform or integrating their EHR, EMR tools with HubSpot, that, hey, we actually have extra levels of features for protection, and it may give you a good excuse to bring that conversation back to the team.
Yeah, I really like this update, and we've seen so many different like AI updates from HubSpot this year, but it's been a little quieter on the sensitive data front. So really like seeing this innovation. I think this really helps more healthcare, financial services, travel organizations to be able to come on board and be able to feel safe with where they're storing their data. All right, we're jumping into Commerce Hub now. Line item custom properties. So line item custom properties, if any of you have been using quoting and invoice functionality inside of HubSpot, you're likely familiar with going in and adding data within some of the fields as you had to set up your product libraries. And so what a line item custom properties does is it really allows you to leverage even more the CPQ functionality inside of HubSpot. I know that some of you had to use different workarounds when it comes to using quoting and pulling in your own custom type of information. So this type of update essentially allows you to put any kind of information you want inside there versus it having to necessarily live in another inventory system, an ERP, a spreadsheet, something like that. And so this also allows, we've had a lot of feedback from customers just on the ability to report on products. And so this also allows you to do more of that. And when you look at the ability to create like custom types of calculation fields. I know there's a lot of customers that want something very custom and unique to their type of organization. Brian, what's your thought on line item custom properties and what you think this helps unlock for customers?
Yeah, for sure. I think that this is a big one. I think it's been a little bit of a gripe of folks in the HubSpot ecosphere and a limiting factor for businesses of certain types to use HubSpot's quoting tools, and limiting reporting, as you alluded to. I think that a reporting piece is really important. But the ability to unlock calculations on these fields, just the uniformity of data for reporting on these fields, line items is very, very big. It used to be that it had to be under a product and you would use custom code action workflows to update something. It's a little bit of a funky workaround. Now what this unlock gives is there are a couple use cases and examples that have come to in conversations that I've been in already. Margin calculations on services or delivery, fees and discount logic on things like volume-based pricing, or like partnerships, or type of exchange fees on partnerships. Um, I think that those elements that we're limiting give a greater unlock to what HubSpot users can do with native functionality. So you can think about this as potentially a consolidation or a cost savings where you don't actually need that third-party CPQ tool anymore. Um, Another call out that I want to make is that this is another in a long line of recent additions and future additions that are coming based on the launch of Commerce Hub. So at Inbound, you may have heard that Commerce Hub is an enhanced CPQ quoting functionality that's built into HubSpot, and it's actually built as a separate tool from the legacy quotes features that were baked into Sales Hub Pro or Sales Hub Enterprise in the past. What's interesting though is that this is one of those updates that actually spans across both tools. So there's foundational work that this new CPQ, product team and internally at HubSpot are building. And if you already were subscribed to Sales Pro or Sales Enterprise prior to Inbound, and you have your quotes built out and you haven't kind of migrated over to Commerce Hub CPQ functionality, there are some benefits that are kind of trickling back that your team will have access to. And this is one of them. Just want to call that out. If you haven't made that jump yet, or you're kind of a more legacy customer, you've been using this for a while, this is a big unlock for you. It's also one more kind of piece in that Commerce Hub story that's really important in terms of foundational stuff, which unlocks the CPQ functionality in our future products to come.
Yeah, this is an awesome update. So let's jump next to App Marketplace and some of the different apps that we've seen some updates from. So let's look at syncing owners bidirectionally between HubSpot and Salesforce. So the Salesforce HubSpot update, this probably gets the most attention and love from HubSpot product team just in terms of new updates. And this is just another great update that allows you to then sync your ownership field between HubSpot and Salesforce, which I know historically has been a bit of a challenge. There's have to use different workarounds, things like that. So I like this update right here. I'm not going to go super in depth with it, but essentially, if you want to update the owner field inside of HubSpot, you can do it on that side. If you want to do it in Salesforce, you can do it on that side, or you can have it go both ways. So I think this is really important, as sometimes you want to be able to make all those updates inside of HubSpot and have that be the system of record versus inside of Salesforce.
I think that's huge. I think the fact of bidirectional is important. And I also think that the use case here is if someone leaves the company or gets reassigned to a new team, all their accounts, maybe rejigger that over, retool that over in Salesforce. That was a property or field that didn't sync before. And it was a real pain in the butt. Okay. So like acknowledging that. I will also say, I've been in conversations with a couple members of our Salesforce integration product team inside of HubSpot. And this is one of a couple other updates to come. Some you may have seen that have dropped already in terms of private beta or public beta in December that we'll talk about come January. But the Salesforce integration we've all known and loved for a long time is getting a couple key updates. So we feel that that's a place where there's additional leverage for HubSpot and additional benefit for the customers. And this is one example of a handful of others. So if you're running that integration today, or you're considering leveraging that integration, this is one of a few. So I would encourage you to stay tuned on your product updates tab inside your portal for additional updates to come.
Or just come to this webinar each month, Brian, and that way we'll tell you about the new ones.
Run it back in January. Let's go.
All right. Awesome. Well, thank you everybody for joining. And if you are trying to improve your HubSpot portal in 26, and you just want to either have it cleaned up, or you just want to get more out of your investment in 26, please reach out to us. We'd love to give you a free HubSpot audit, give you some tips on how you can get more value out of your investment. There's so many updates that are coming out, and our team stays on the latest and greatest, and we're staying a couple steps ahead so that you get more out of that. Thank you so much. And we look forward to seeing you back here in January, and then we'll go through all the updates in December. Brian, thanks for joining us here. We're really this was a fun bunch of episodes that we were able to go through, and look forward to keeping the updates rolling out to you in the new year. Thanks, everybody. Please take our survey, and we hope to see you next time.
Thank you for watching.